hero that's exploded onto the scene. Jolim's definitely a player that comes to mind when you think of it, obviously, as of late from Team Afraid. But I've heard about this jungling artillery at My Nuts Planet, as you said. Unfortunately, we still have yet to see it because it keeps getting blind banded.
I want to make a comment. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the jungle either, though. It very much could be, you have a hero like a player like Noob G, or a lot of these players on this team can probably play artillery very, very effectively. It has, even if it wasn't My Nuts playing him there, they might feel that artillery has been buffed enough to the point where he's a massive threat, replacing Wild Soul as sort of that be-all, end-all carry.
Yeah. Now, so with that said, again, as you mentioned, Moon Queen Wild Soul has always been the routine for Stay Green. Clearly, that's not the case here. They're going to lock Wild Soul first, though. They are changing it up finally. Again, we just talked about how they, just like Trademark Esports, have honestly been in a little bit of a downward slope. Take that how you will. Obviously, Stay Green's still number one in our minds. I mean, okay, again, I'm just saying by the facts. They're here in the losers bracket in HoN Tour going into the second weekend, and they both lost in the semifinals of the SPHL. So facts are facts. You can't deny that.
I'm just saying your sample pool is pretty small there.
That's why I said these last couple of weeks there's been a little bit. But again, you could still very much argue that these are still the number 1 and 2 teams even in HoN right now. So, anyways, we got that lock pool finishing up, and oh my God, is that a strong lock pool?
Yeah.
Wild Soul coming into Tempest Parasites. We have Master of Arms Zephyr, and then Demented Shaman to wrap things up.
Yeah, some horrifyingly strong combinations coming out. Wild Soul, we know SG really does seem to fear and value that hero very highly. Will they wind up drafting it first out of this lock pool, or will they go for a more team fight-oriented strat? We've seen a lot of teams, even with Wild Soul being locked up and a lot of teams banning him out, we've seen him just completely get passed over for some reason when it comes to the lock phase, and people are just opting for stronger dual lanes, stronger gank setups that they can push more aggressively with in the early to mid-game phase and sort of take over the lanes from there.
Yeah, this tank meta has honestly come back a little bit. I know we kind of throw this word meta around a lot. It's obviously it has different meaning than what we use it for a lot of time. Anyways, this strength, this really tanky focus hero game, it seemed like we've seen a bit of that lately. We've seen the Armadons, we've seen the Zephyr strategies kind of being busted out here.
You got to remember what eventually brought an end to the tank meta, though. That was sort of like avoiding them and farming up with a hard carry as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Getting them that turbo farm Darkly or the turbo farm Magebane. Magebane, look at that. Speaking of Armadon, Magebane's a hero that just absolutely crushes Armadon.
Yeah.
Total mobility to get away from the Snotstorm. Limited monopool on the hero to begin with, and it really is a strong counter. So seeing the rise of some of these more popular picks again, we might see said heroes see revitalization as well.
Yeah, Pebble's going to be the first pick coming out for Stay Green. Can't say I'm too surprised about that one. And being left on the board. As far as the banning phase real quickly, it was Regidag, Deadwood, Tundra, Fade, Engineer, and Nymphora coming out here. But Pebble's the first pick. There's the Bubbles Aluna. Going to be followed up here by Trademark Esports.
Yeah, very, very versatile heroes in general. You can pretty much lane Bubbles anywhere if you need to. Oftentimes finding him in the suicide role, but a very, very powerful mid-hero as well against those dual lane combinations.
Yeah.
Not to mention Luna if you do need it. We've seen even Trademark, they do run her as a solo sometimes if it calls for it in the later part of the draft.
True.
That being said, it is most definitely going to be run as a support in this game.
Yeah.
Unless they would wind up picking up something like a DS later on to complement the Zephyr pick. They're pretty much going to roll away. I did want to comment, Rally made it past their picking phase, and part of what worries me about that is that Rally is really powerful as a secondary initiator to join Pebbles. Pebbles being a high burst hero, he goes in there, and a hero like Rally, what do you often see Stay Green on Magmus when they're running him as a secondary initiator? A push book. Free push book here on Rally, so you can choose to follow up with the initiate or help Pebbles get out after a successful game.
Yeah, this is already looking very, very comfortable lineup for Stay Green, to say the least. Pebbles, Rally, Torture being picked up. I mean, you figure, I wouldn't be surprised if they even, actually, no, I was going to say that. It's going to be interesting to see who they first pick from that lock pool, because, obviously, again, you get the one, you give them the other two. I guess Wild Soul definitely makes sense here.
I was going to comment when we talked about Armadon and the counters like Magebane. It gives you a little bit of a strength here when you're in the second, the Hellborn slot, because you get the last pick out of the normal hero pool. Yeah. So they can't counter that pick. So picking Armadon here, they can't be like, oh shit, let's grab Magebane, because the lock pool is already decided.
Yeah.
That's already laid down. That's the one strength of the Hellborn side that I felt like people weren't exploiting enough.
Yeah, man. Okay, so yeah, I was thinking about this. I was like, if you don't go Wild Soul, you're giving tdM Wild Soul and then the other jungler that you don't go. They did that, so it's a little bit of a risk here. It seems like from Stay Green, but they're very comfortable with that Tempest. You know, getting that tablet on him kind of follows up that strategy that you like to talk about. And now they're going to finish off here with probably something like the Master of Arms. Honestly, as a support role. Seems like it makes sense. They like to run the Torture, of course, more in the aggressive, more in farming
Torch's
route.
not the, well, actually, look at this game. Well, yeah, they could run a Master of Arms support as well, but they could actually just run Torture support this game, more of an MOA carry. Torch could feasibly lane with the Zephyr, but it's just not the strongest of lanes.
Yeah.
So wouldn't really expect to see that. Also, solo Zephyr not the best. Master would be the most likely. Unless they can buy room for the Zephyr to farm, this is the overall safer pick here.
Yeah. Just going to go ahead and quickly turn off all my notifications.
The thing is, Parasite does steal that Master of Armor shield, so something they just have to be careful of and perceptive to.
Very true, very true. Yeah, that's they were thinking about that. I mean, whether it was just they were just using a little bit more time just to get more comfortable in the end, but obviously using a bit of extra time there to finally go with the Master of Arms pick in the end. But yeah, you're right. The Parasite, no doubt a hero that's considered to be powerful against him for that obvious reason. You see the team ready up right there. Stay Green show and the house is working, man.
Yeah, I mean, for those, I mean, pretty much everyone knows it at this point. But for those of you that don't, Stay Green, they actually all moved into a gaming house together. They're not sponsored by any organization of their own volition. Players from Australia, Europe, and America joining together, and obviously it worked. When they all came together in that house, put their roster together, I think they went from what we would call the second, third place. They propelled right to first place. The results showed.
Yeah, well, there's a mix of reasons for that. The obvious one is being that they're all five together. They're getting that camaraderie. They're getting, stronger as a team and a friendship even, which definitely no doubt can play a big role. But on top of that, players like Slicks, a player like Slicks, obviously it was a huge boost for him simply because of the latency factor. He went from playing 250 plus MS every single game to all of a sudden anywhere from 50 to maybe 150 at the most, on certain European servers or whatnot. So
and a player like Slicks in those slight teams, but he's been around in this scene for a while, and more than anything, Slicks wants to win. Winning is his #1 prerogative, and when you look at him playing in a matchup like this with his former teams, maybe they just didn't have the same serious approach that Stay Green did, the same commitment. By moving into a house together, they made a statement. If they were to drop games and not really take that first place seed after sort of going all out like that, they would have received a lot of criticism. So all of that being on the line, they had to deliver.
Oh, we have some possible initiation to kick things off here. Both teams in the vicinity here. We got all five from saying the pain train is coming, baby, but Wild Soul's Bear will eventually spot it. And that well, the jig is up, basically. So Stay Green just going to go ahead and place the ward of sight and definitely fall back right here, but trying to be crafty there early on. But Wild Soul, that's kind of interesting. Usually you're so used to seeing the Wild Soul using that booba to pull the creep wave immediately, but he was using it right there to actually scout out instead. And as a result of that, I don't know if he's going to be able to get here in time to be able to effectively actually do the creep pull. It doesn't look like Wild Soul's Bear is going to get here. Actually, never mind. He will be able to. So, but yeah, definitely good heads up from Zai right there. With that said, using it to scout initially, then he's still going to get the pull off.
Yeah, I like the runaround, though, that Stay Green was doing. We've seen other teams do that a lot, and it usually proves successful. So what is normally a passive early game almost broke out into an epic fight.
Yeah. How about this, by the way? I mean, I apologize if you already mentioned it, but Master of Arms being played by Slicks here, and Torture being played by Z-Freak. So they are going to have Master of Arms in that short lane as a farming role, and they're going to go with Slicks, or excuse me, Torture instead as a support.
Yeah, as we expected, just with this strategy, the thing is, once again, you have the high burst initiator, then you have the heroes to follow them up and play defensive from there. Master of Arms and Rally both provide a lot of great coverage after Pebbles jumps in and picks off the support hero in Luna. To start off the fight, and then you have a 5v4. You reset, you wait for your cooldowns, reinitiate. Pebbles doesn't use, like Deadwood, Pebbles jumps on in, 20 seconds he's ready to go again. Deadwood, he uses that Deadwood punch, and it's a 60-second, 85-second cooldown.
Yeah, very, very short, of course. So, in the end, though, again, he's going to be at the bottom lane going up against a Wild Soul. Maybe a little bit of it, too, is that they figure Master of Arms perhaps has a little bit better late-game presence than a Torture, say, has when it comes to that right-click carry potential, especially.
Exactly.
And so matching it up against a Wild Soul at the very least, giving them, hell, even that, well, not really an Armadon, I guess. Armadon's more of the mid-game, I'm just going to be a tanky mess. But anyways, going to that point, maybe that was some of the logic as well.
I mean, it's just what we'd have expected to see from Stay Green. This isn't anything unique here. I mean, they would always run Master of Arms carry in a setup like this.
It's just either or in the end, and they chose to go with the Master of Arms carry and the Torture support.
For sure.
We do see, again, the last lane set up to talk about those is top lane. Rally, of course, being played by Keizu here in the suicide role. He's being boxed out by Aluna quite a bit. Aluna, of course, being played by Fitsuke. Given the free farm to Noob G on the Armadon. So,
yeah.
But as we see, you know, we talk about these suicide players and heroes in general, you know, trying to protect the rune, but maybe even going to try to set up a gank here in the middle lane.
Well, that's nice.
Pull it off.
That's the nice part about Rally, even as a suicide or as a solo laner in general. He's versatile, man. He can solo very effectively. He's very hard to kill, but he has a stun, unlike a lot of other suicide heroes, like a Bubbles, like a Wild Soul. So you can count on him to sort of set up a gank on your opponents. And here we go, Bubbles
being going right there. There's the Rally. Again comes the stun right there. Stalagmite's on top of that. Does actually connect the chuck in the air. That Bubbles will fall. Bloodlust kill coming out for State Green. Rally, you know, using that compel fairly early, but the Stalagmite's able to connect from Swindlemelons. And as a result, Bloodlust kill.
Well, you saw right there, it was a tiny bit of miss. You saw Limp try to take cover, but take cover Stalagmites, it goes on for a while, you know, so even though he dodged the initial impact, it carried on, and the duration lasts beyond just the initial cast, so hit him when he came right on out of it.
Yeah, very well played by the Legion team. And again, simply goes back to the fact that you're just talking about Rally specifically, why he's so good for that reason. Able to assist in the middle lane and set up that Bloodlust kill. So sure, he's getting boxed out massively here at the top lane. In fact, he doesn't even have a creep kill yet, but he was at least assisted for that Bloodlust kill, giving his team the better chance.
I gotta guarantee you, Fitzy's probably like, man, you had vision of him. Like, look at where Fitzy's wards are placed. True. He actually had them in the river. They saw Rally going to mid. I didn't think for a second that gank would get off. I think Klimp was like, oh, I'm Bubbles, I have an escape, I'm pretty far back, it's gonna be fine. Nope. Keizu was able to play very, very well and, again, set it up initially. So Limp maybe definitely getting a little bit overzealous right there. And in the end, though, Limp on Bubbles. Obviously a struggling time, not only being Bloodlust killed, but he is in a very tough matchup in general. Torture, Pebbles, talk about a combo that can definitely kill you on its own. Very, very possible there. So he's having to play very passive in the end. And once again, we see Rally doing the roam. He's going to try to protect this 4-minute rune, but Aluna, Parasite, and Bubbles are all up here. So Trademark Esports like, nah, you ain't getting this rune. Will it spawn top? It will be top. Yeah. And it's going to be a haste rune picked up by Bubbles. Okay, well, that's fine. Allows him to space out in the middle lane, continue to pick up experience here. It is a little bit more difficult against a Pebble, such high base damage and rocking that hatchet. Range heroes do get less experience when they get denied, so unlike a Rally or a Deadwood in middle just sort of sitting back to get experience, Bubbles does level up a lot more slowly, given the fact that he has that range advantage, so to speak.
Well, it's still taking a little bit of pressure here, but in the end, just more so harassment coming out from Slicks. Not afraid to just run up there and put in those auto attacks. Of course, Wild Soul, it's funny to say, but not too tanky, at least until he gets that level 6 mark.
He's playing with fate there, though, man. If Boo got a root, chase it down, get a follow-up route, that could be a dead Master of Arms. So, yeah, I like Slicks' aggression, but it's being dicey.
A little bit careful. I mean, in the end, too, actually, wow, Wild Soul's beating Master of Arms when it comes to farm. 23-5 compared to a 19-1. Is that surprising, Emperor?
Not. I mean, he has the bearer to help him last hit assist. He's got the hatchet. Slicks has been playing this lane very well, but still Zai, as we know, he was popularized as probably the go-to Wild Soul player. Yeah. People wanted to learn how to play it. They were all loading up replays of Zai. tdM probably most effectively using him before other teams in the recent competitive scene.
Yeah. Well, we pulled the gold per minute chart right now, though. Obviously, Bloodlust kill on top of just great farm here for Swindlemelons, and he is dominating the GPM chart. Already at 400 gold per minute. He has the boots and bottle so far. I was going to say, yeah, Steam Boots is definitely on the way as well. You also see a Pickled Brain on there. Obviously, you can't forget about these junglers. Speaking of that, Chessie here on the Tempest. He's going to be finishing that Ring of Sorcery, but My Nuts on Parasite is actually having the better time so far. He went that Blood Chalice first. He's got his Ghost Marchers now finished, and his farm actually surpassing the 300 gold per minute mark, so he's farming very well here to get things kicked off.
Right, and we were actually talking about this last night. You know, what do I like about the Hellborn map advantage? He was in the hotel room, and, you know, I said, the lane on bottom lane is right next to the Ancient, so even if you're suffering in your lane or you get boxed out, you have a hero like Wild.
Hold that thought for a second. Parasite, a long jump right here. Chuck comes out. The signs for the face hug. Will it be enough for the save? Yes, it will. Parasite able to run away with his Ghost Marchers, and now actually Bubbles joining the party. He's not level 6 yet, so no Kelfield going to be coming out, and in the end, the turnaround, I don't think it's going to be possible. Rally's going to take some pressure, but he has another compel to use by Shellstar. Marcus Tower Dive. Yes, we are. tdM wants this. Go on, Keizu, and the kill they will get, damn it. So the kill happening for tdM. That's their first kill of the game. Take cover from Bubbles to avoid death from the tower. So the good chase happening And eventually, at least, they get the kill on occasion.
Yeah, and you notice what happened there, and I really, really like it. Look at the build that Armadon went. He actually chose to level up his Snotstorm, knowing that he wasn't in a lane where he needed to play really passive, went for the more aggressive route, laid down that slow, and they easily netted the kill onto an under-leveled rally. Not the biggest deal. He's only level 2. It's not like they're killing their point hero here in Master of Arms, but still effective to get that golden experience up. Meanwhile, look what Z-Freak did. Knows Wild Soul. We talked about the lane advantage, being able to go right over those Ancients and stack them, jungle them if you need to. He put a ward down early, preventing a lot of Wild Soul's free farm. This leaves him vulnerable if he goes into the bottom lane. Maybe they can set up a gank and a push.
Yeah, that was very, very effective there. And so we'll see. We'll see if Trademark Esports, in fact, I think a rev is being delivered right now. It is. So they are going to definitely go to counter ward this. You got Fubu going around the backside. Rev ward again going to be placed here, and yes, he'll spot the ward aside. So it does at least stop the one spawn, but the other one is going to eventually be countered.
Yeah, still less wards for early game vision elsewhere, though. Very nice and quick job there. It wasn't really a sneaky placement, so to speak. It was just directly in the middle of the camp. It was kind of hard because he wanted to place it from the river. You know, he didn't want to get up in there and get some ideal spot that he might have missed with the ward. So yeah, Zai opening up the Ancients again. We'll soon be able to resume that, but we talked about the push happening. Tempest is in this bottom lane. He's level 7, only level 2 Glacial Blast right now, as we see Tempest usually choose level up elementals to have a stronger pushing and jungling force early on.
Bubbles sitting off into the side. Armadon porting in. This could be dangerous here for the leading team if they commit. In fact, son of Armadon, the goose put down. You're not killing him, though, just yet. Wild Soul in that ulti form as well. Tempest maybe going for an ultimate, but he's going to be entangled right there. So that will stop anything else. Bubbles still nearby. He's going to shell surf in. There is more support, though, coming from Stay Green. Uh-oh, Wild Soul and Armadon might be in a lot of trouble here. Noobg, can he actually get away? That chain reactions will connect. Here comes Pebbles, and Armadon's going to fall right there. The chuck happening. Wild Soul going to be chucked in, actually, and Wild Soul will also fall. Great coordination coming up for Stay Green. They get the double tap kill as a team. Bubbles not finished just yet, though he's still not level 6, unfortunately, though. So again, no Kelphill coming out, but Stay Green.
See, I gotta feel like Trademark needed to see that coming. We were just talking about the gank and push on the bottom lane.
Yeah.
How Wild Soul was down there, the Ancients were blocked, but while he was there, we often like to see that bottom lane get collapsed upon earlier, so they needed some sort of vision to detect that gank happening sooner. They needed to prioritize sort of scouting out that suicide lane.
Oh, nice deny.
Yes.
Using the Hell Cannon to deny against all those players from Stay Green. Man, that's got to be frustrating.
Well, and as Swindle Mullins has said, if you're able to get that deny, it wastes a lot of time. They invested all their heroes there. They did get the gank, so they didn't come empty-handed. It was still worth it in the end, but you know, those denies mean a lot in the early game. They create a definitely early lopsided advantage.
Yeah. No, but as you're saying, I mean, it seems like the gank should have been fairly obvious, but in the end, tdM, you know, they really wanted to defend that tower. They figured they got Armadon that's beefy. They got ulti form Wild Soul. Obviously wasn't enough right there. So.
Right. Well, we talk about counter push, though. Bubbles is fantastic. You know who else is fantastic, though, is this Armadon. He gets tanky enough. He just turns his back to you, sits near the creep wave, and just keeps on spamming.
Yeah, he is going to take advantage of the lane being pushed up at least. So kind of that blessing in disguise, you could say, for Armadon right here. And Wild Soul actually over to the Ancients, again, using that ulti form. How is Zai coming along with that set? He has 1,700 gold saved up. He has boots on himself, and that's basically it, other than the starting item. So he's coming along very nicely. And again, that Mocker Brilliant's still on its way to a very efficient, you know, say 17, 18-minute mock here. You know, pending, of course, any deaths or anything like that. So, welcome to Suicide Wild Soul yet again working out. We're going to have a pause here coming out from Trademark Esports. But, yeah, it's, I mean, both teams definitely have their advantages right now. Clearly, Stay Green having the gold advantage, about a 2,000 gold lead here, as we are now just past the 10-minute mark. And, again, this is Stay Green's pace, as where they usually like to be at, to say the least. You know, in that early game lead and definitely take advantage from there. So, we'll see when things start picking up here, specifically for Stay Green now.
Right. Looking at what else we got here? Armadon, we talked about he went that Snotstorm build, was able to secure a kill potentially because of it. I mean, he was going into more aggressive lane, but now he has no points in his Armadillo ability.
Yeah.
Can't really be that tanky. He doesn't even have vestments yet, so he can't really be that tanky force. We saw right there, he was trying to defend against the push. They stunned him, nuked him once, and he was down to about a third of his health. So he definitely needs to thicken up here, get those levels, because otherwise they have nothing to defend against these early pushes. I think they thought with a free farmed Armadon, oh, we'll get this Armadon a lot of free farm. He's so tanky early on, they're not going to be able to fight us. So far, not working out.
I mean, Helm of the Black Legion, yeah, very tanky item, but look at his armor. Again, he's kind of, to say with Zephyr a lot, he's deceptively tanky, honestly. The armor's not that high, and you got a Master of Arms over there with that goose, so.
Well, the thing is, when he has the armadillo, I think his tankiness is well spoken for. But right now, it's right. He doesn't have it yet.
That's my point.
Exactly.
Right now,
so it's,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise he's just a goddamn nightmare to pierce through. That's they'll take it. They'll take it. And speaking of armor, they have the armor reduction here with Master of Arms laying down the acid bomb. Actually puts him into the negative here with the maxed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of minus armor coming out just from him alone, so something else that this Hellborn team at Trademark Esports needs to keep in mind. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for tuning in to HoNcast.com. For those that are obviously on the stream, you may notice a little different in sound and whatnot with our setup in general. We are live here casting from PAX East in Boston, Massachusetts. We got plenty of people here as well watching around the booth, walking by and everything. We're having a lot of fun, man. Obviously, we kicked things off yesterday with the podcast where we had a lot of fun on there, did some good, cool interviews, and I also gotta beat you down in that whole jousting thing. I always gotta. That's never gonna get old, man.
I let you win, Breaky.
You let me win, of course.
Are you still?
You'll get
you
another
still
chance.
Think you actually legitimately took down the Emperor?
Okay.
All right.
Redemption.
Sure.
It'll happen. All right. It looks like they're ready though. So back to business here. As far as this game is concerned, again, this is game number 1. For again those that are tuning in here, the losers bracket round 4. Very important matchup here for your number 1 and 2 teams right now in the HoN Tour standings, going into that Vegas event, playing for that number 1 seed. Really is what it comes down to. So. Double stack Ancients over here for State Green, so they're just going to go ahead and clean those up. Not going to triple stack them in the meantime.
Yeah, State Green always does a great job of sacking and killing those Ancients as a team really early on, making sure they don't invest too much time or resources into clearing them out. Right here, we're actually seeing them back off. I'm not sure if they're actually going to finish. Okay, they're just damaging it, and then they're going to stack it and then finish it all off, so it's going to be a lot easier to begin with. Great timing coordination coming out. Moving forward here, we got Rally getting closer to his level 6, level 5, and he's pretty tough to gank. He's in the mid lane, going up against Bubbles. Once he gets that ultimate, he's going to be able to contribute so much more to this team.
Yeah. So still cleaning up the Ancients. Okay, there you go. So finally they're starting to fall. They even get another stack off. Pebbles actually has enough gold for that portal key right now. And they're just going to go ahead and finish out this one off right here. So Swinamel's on Pebbles. He's got the build-up, the steam boots, the bottle, the power supply. He's going to have the portal key on top of that now. Middle lane Rally. Nope, no initiation. Just a shell surf happening from Bubbles.
Yeah, that would be... it would be like, Bubbles, what are you doing?
Well, I thought he might have a Parasite follow-up. He's
kind
of hard to tell sometimes.
For sure.
Just really harassment in the end of some farm.
Right.
But yeah, the Pebbles with that portal key now. This is where, of course, as always, especially for State Green, the pace starts to pick up quite a bit. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
Well, and as we said before, the lineup is structured around the Pebbles initiation.
Yeah.
It's more than just it being a very powerful tool on Pebbles. They build around the follow-up. They build around the support that they can offer the Pebbles after giving a hero down. So that being said, their lineup here is taking full flight. None of these heroes really Rally level 6 as well.
Yeah.
So none of these heroes really, they do great. They scale just fine with items, but none of them need more than that to function.
Yeah. And you got your Slicks, so playing the Master of Farms. He's sitting comfortably at that 300 gold per minute mark. Energizer, most certainly going to be coming out for him. That's definitely what he likes to do, as well as a lot of Master of Arms players. Get that early Energizer, so the Soul Screamer you already picked up, of course, and there you go. The right click of the Energizer, and he'll have that delivered to him. Wild Soul needs to be a little bit careful here. Granted, he is invisible for another 30 seconds, so never mind. I think he'll be just fine, as he is going to start falling back right now. Speaking of Wild Soul, always got to focus on him with the gold. He has 2460 right now, so again, he's doing enough for this point. Getting towards that sort of the high at 3400, and then just needs the pattern after that, of course, of 1350. So, but for the time being, it's just a case of State Green trying to find that opportunity. But Trademark Esports, again, I don't know if he's shown it just yet, but they probably have a good idea that he has that.
They're waiting for the Wild Soul here.
Yep, Wild Soul's going to be in some trouble, actually. Oh, he just went out of ulti form, too, but no, he is going to be fine. They do have their own ward aside here.
Yeah.
Back in ulti form.
Well, quick counter, though. They noticed that Wild Soul backed up, and they were very quick to take down Zai's ward of sight that was placed on the hill protecting him, and now they're moving forward. No.
He doesn't have Mystic Vestment, so he's tanky, but, with the combo from Torture, obviously, he probably could get the kill, but doesn't want to risk it here, at least at this point, so. Going back in. Now we're going to see that jumper. Haps, Pebbles, yes, he's going to go in right here. Oh, he gets the combo, but he only hits Boo Boo. Boo Boo will fall, but in the end, Wild Soul going to survive. He'll spawn another Boo Boo, and he will be fine. So Swinamel's, unfortunately, just timing that.
I don't know about that one, Break. If he actually jumped in and comboed onto the Wild Soul there, he was next to the Boo Boo. And not only with the combo of seriously damaged and almost killed Wild Soul, it would have killed Boo Boo, and when Boo Boo dies, Wild Soul takes extra damage as well. So that would have been an amazing play coming out. Probably just didn't want to risk it. He might not have known if there was backup sitting behind him there in the lane. In a very important game like this, you don't want to make those unnecessary risks. They already know they're winning without doing anything crazy.
Middle lane and invulnerability going to come off right there. Whilst on the front lines, Torture going to be bursted out as a Codex comes out from Parasite. Kelpit holding Pebbles in place, and Parasite going to steal that haste room from Pebbles. Actually, Swinama's in some trouble. Going to be compelled backwards. Rally now on the run as well. Master Runs, the Tempest ultimate in the meantime coming up from Chessie. Boom, going to be checked in the air. Will it be enough for the kills? Wild Soul's too damn tanky, man. Wild Soul will finally fall though. Pebbles going to be counted on. Master of Arms, he wants another kill on Armadon right here. The Armadillo doing work. The Compel forward though, going to pick up the kill on Armadon. And now Master of Arms on the run. Keizu going to distract him. If anything, he knows he's probably going to die right here. He's going to go for the port. Oh, the Master's call comes out. One team support from Stay Green. And in the end, they're in the lead of 6-4 hero kills. Coming out pretty well in that fight. Did they get the tower kill? I believe they did as well.
Yeah,
yes, they did.
They
so
did.
I think Stay Green won that fight in the end.
Yeah, it was pretty close. Armadon, man, he was doing some serious work, though, here against Stay Green. And, you know, they paid a price for their initiation. It didn't go as smoothly as they would have liked. Huge ulti coming out from Chessie, but just not enough follow-up. And that Master of Arms shield, I did not think it would save him in the end, but it was level 2. He was level 11 already.
True,
so just giving him just enough health to make that quick escape.
Yeah, for such a utility and versatile hero, and Master of Arms can play your pure support, can play your hard carry, and everything in between. You know, this is obviously the advantage of playing him in this role, the farming role, the carry route. He will get those levels. So hitting that level 2 Master's Call, very likely, you could argue, saved Rally there.
Oh,
in
definitely.
the end, allowed him to pour it out. Meanwhile, the top lane, Wild Soul once again in some trouble. Pebbles, he has that portal key, remember, but without the follow-up being just close enough, he doesn't want to risk it. Zai's going to sit in that tanky form. And he's going to fall back for now. But Stay Green, again, this is what they do best. Just start grouping up, pushes up towers. Wild Hunter, though, coming out from Fire side. Trying to go for the kill and torture. Not going to be enough in the end. He didn't use his Codex, but Fitzke making the big plays with the Red Luna snipe.
Right, so he said he didn't use his Codex.
No.
He had enough mana.
He did.
Okay.
Not sure why.
But either way, Fitzke
saves the day in the end. Meanwhile, initiation on Armadon over here. He's tanky, but not tanky enough, says Stay Green. Armadon will get killed. Big counter kill for though coming out. Wild Hunter once again from my nuts coming out from Parasite. He's trying to chase down. He does have the Codex now. Bubbles with the Song of the Sea going to be coming out as well. I believe Parasite's actually out of mana. No, he's very low on mana now. He's in a horrible spot. Pebbles jumps in, chucks him backwards. Oh, Parasite falls. Bubbles with the take cover. It won't matter. Wild Soul trying to win away right here. Hat trick. Already coming out for Keizu, and Stay Green starting a big momentum train here. Poor man's portal key coming out. The stun from Tempest on top of that with the Glacial Blast, and now Wild Soul, despite being tanky once again, the entangle on Pebbles not going to be enough. A genocide for Stay Green just at 17 minutes into this game, Emperor. Stay Green really picking it up here.
And you know, Stay Green's a team, whenever we see them with this early momentum, they usually don't drop it. This is what they excel at as a team, establishing that 8K, 10K gold early on by the 20-minute mark, and then just driving it home. In a case like this, when we see the game usually even pace, it usually spells bad news for Stay Green, but they're taking full flight here. I got to question that Bubbles initiation, man. Armadon dropped, and what did I talk about tdM's lineup? They built their entire lineup around this Armadon for the early mid-game to combat Stay Green's early pushing. He's a tanky hero they want in front to lay out that sustained damage in a fight, and when Armadon dropped, he's their point man. He's the way they plan on fighting Stay Green early. Wild Soul doesn't have his Mach yet. They can't go initiating using Wild Soul as the carry, so to speak, in this fight. So with Armadon down, they had no business initiating there. It was just absolute suicide, and they basically gave Stay Green that genocide.
Yeah, again, it just kind of goes back to tdM. We talk about it a lot, especially with a team like Stay Green. They're known for pushing those towers early on, grouping up. Sometimes you just got to let them have the tower kills. It's just how it is. Parasite's going to run into Torture in the meantime, but he'll actually fall back before anything happens. It's just how it is. Obviously, tdM, they know this, so, saying this, it's kind of silly in a sense, but they went to defend the tower, and as you're pointing out right there, and as we saw, it just proved to be the wrong decision in the end. Stay Green played it very well, of course, and deserving of, winning that fight, but Trademark Esports getting overstepping their boundaries, you could say, and, well, just like that, really in the blink of an eye even, all of a sudden, what was an okay gold lead for Stay Green is now a 10,000 gold lead on top of a 7,300 experience lead here for Stay Green. So, again, just game number 1 here in this best of 3. But Stay Green, no doubt, in the much, much better start here.
Yeah, they just need to play it a little bit more safer on Trademark. They had the pick off. They were content if they played it really safe. They still could have made that fight happen. Really passively staying back. I mean, no buybacks used by Stay Green. It was a 4v5. They just their positioning wasn't there.
Yeah.
And once again, you have a Wild Soul. He is a liability until he gets his Mock of Brilliance, or especially if you're going for that straight Mock route like he is here. Yeah, okay, not straight Mock. He has boots on the Boo Boo, but no vestments, no Ghost Marchers there on Boo Boo, so he is pretty much not able to really contribute to these earlier fights, unable to put out much damage at all. Maybe some lucky Entangle proc, sure, but he's only level 9.
Yeah. Well, also look at Rally, man. Look at Kizu here on Rally. This was the Rally that didn't get a creep kill for the longest time. Obviously, he helped set up the Bloodlust kill, sure, but, you know, he went back to the top lane, wasn't getting any experience, no really farm. All of a sudden, he's level 10. He's farming nearly 300 gold per minute. Again, it just shows you the power of grouping up as a team, getting those early tower pushes, making team fights happen, getting kills as a result of that as a team, and just like that, again, he has those stats now.
It's also the power of sharing. I mean, you look at his team there with Pebbles, taking the earlier farm, getting that portal key. It bought Rally the room to take over the lanes and farm safely. And a hero like Rally, too, it's not like you have a squishy suicide carry hero that's still very vulnerable to ganks. Rally's a hero that, even if he's under-leveled, can go to those lanes, soak up experience at any point, pretty much, because he has an escape tool, and he's inherently pretty damn thick as a hero.
Yeah. So again, sitting in the pause here, Trademark Esports looks like they need to take care of something real quickly. But so as far as HoN Tour goes today, with cycle number 8 here. Of course, we're covering this losers bracket round 4 matchup. The other one going on, obviously, Absolute Legends taking on Team Afraid. I assume that's started by now, of course. And they should be in game number 1 here.
Let's see if I can get a little ticker update on that one for you guys. It is a pretty hype matchup, and okay, they are playing, and they actually have a tag now on 3 players. Yolam is no longer tagged. Okay, I like it. I like it. And we see AL, and it's an even game so far, at least in terms of heroes. It's an even game, but AL has the massive tower push advantage, and King Plato playing the Zephyr, a.k.a. Jeffrey Yee on the Jeffer. And they have the powerful Zephyr DS combination. They've got the Rally Ophelia follow-up. I mean, they've got the tools they need. The late game does look like it's in favor of Afraid, though. They've got the Wild Soul pick.
Yeah. So, coming out of this pause, though, it looks like we are finally good to go once again. Luna has a red power snipe ready to go. She just pressed her R. I'm not sure if that was maybe on accident coming out of the pause, or no, just going to cut through the trees and maybe farm up a little bit with it. Oh, she's doing, you know what? She was, that wasn't at the right time, or I'm not even sure what she was trying to do, actually. She sniped the Legion Ancients right there, maybe try to annoy them. But in the end, we see Slicks coming over. He's going to go ahead and finish the triple stack here. And it will be fine. Meanwhile, Parasite catching Pebbles right here. Armor going to assist. A Snot Storm coming out. The Snot is just too powerful, man. In comes the power, though. Oh, the turnaround, though. Pebbles will get the turnaround kill at the very least. Master's Call, of course, on him. He will eventually fall, but what timing right there with the Master's Call, allowing Swinamelons to at least get the turnaround kill.
Yeah, that was huge, and well, you want to invest in a pickoff like that, you need it to be clean.
Yeah.
Parasite is level 11. He does carry a lot of momentum for the burst damage in these team fights. Him getting picked off there, fantastic play there by Stay Green, and unfortunate again for Trademark. Not much seems to be going their way this game, but once again, I think it's mostly been their own undoing. It hasn't been like unlucky procs or anything like that. They've just made some questionable decisions when it comes to initiation and picking their fights.
Obviously, the Soul's Bulwark that was just picked up by Pebbles right there, and most certainly helping, of course. So, good for him. And you see Z-Freak port at the top lane as a support torture here. He's going to start picking up some more farm as the tower's getting pushed in. So, he'll gladly take that, soak up some more experience. Tempest going the Astrolabe route initially. The Ring of Sorcery Astrolabe. Wouldn't be surprised again to see a tablet of command on him. He actually has 2,800 gold saved up. So, Tempest might be going even for a straight Shrunken Head here. I mean, he's still sitting on the red boots. We see this a lot from him. Right. So we'll see, though, what Chessie eventually does pick up here as far as his farm goes.
You got to expect that Shrunken Head. Speaking of Shrunken Heads, man, I am so damn excited. Look at Rally. What do I talk about the items I like to see on Rally? Portal Key and Shrunken Head, much like a lot of other initiators, because I think he's fantastic with it. People are like, oh, you can't push yourself or compel yourself when you're in Shrunken Head, but you know what? Come on. You have hotkeys. Activated as soon as you use the compel. It's a joke.
Yeah.
So get that stun off. Yeah, sure, you can get Hellflowered before it happens, but still, when you're playing secondary initiator, it's not that hard.
Yeah. Ooh, we could have a fight coming up right here. Pebbles jumps in, but he jumps into no man's land. Great spread coming up from tdM. Pebbles going to be Snot Stormed, but there's the compel, and just like that, Stay Green resetting, and Trademark Esports also going to fall back as a team. So neither team, especially Trademark Esports again, they're not looking to really pick the fights right now. They're getting very close to that Mock of Brilliance on the Wild Soul here. Already has the Sword of the High, obviously needs that 1350 gold now for the pattern, but still times, not the best for him, so a little bit later than you'd like, but still going to be solid. Armadon also trying to finish off that Shaman's Headdress here, and maybe even turn that into the Barrier Idol. sooner than later. But Stay Green, no doubt, looking to keep the momentum up. Tempest just bought the full shrunken head. No, he's going barrier idol, actually. Wow. Okay, so yeah, saving up all that gold to go straight barrier idol himself, actually, in the end. What do you make of that?
Well, it's definitely different. It's great. I'm taking a look at the damage here. It's going to help against the Mach and a little bit. I mean, there's enough magic damage to at least mitigate 400. They don't have much to begin with. So I guess what they do have will be mostly taken care of.
Yeah.
It's going to make it so that he's tanky enough to survive the initiation at least and then get his ultimate off regardless.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right.
Just all right?
It's a team fight item. They're going for the push now, so that's more of why they're doing it. Wild Soul,
Gotcha.
it's timing in response to Wild Soul's Mach as well. Just going to reduce the effectiveness of it there and keep them well alive for these pushes.
Oh, look at that. Speaking of more item pickups, Geometer's Paint just finished on Master of Arms. We kind of just haven't been really focusing a whole lot how his farm's been going, but you see the GPM charts. He's now overtaken, has 420 gold per minute here. The top farmer in the game, very solid amount. Again, it's definitely showing with his farm. So the Geometer's Paint on top of the Energizer and Steam Boots, off to a fantastic start.
Yeah. Damn picky right now.
Yeah, Parasite actually, it seems like we've seen Mindouts kind of do this every now and then. He goes to level 2 Codex, and then he starts building other things. Almost as if he just simply values the level 2 Codex for whatever reason, instead of even the level 1. Invests the extra 1,000 gold, and then he starts to build elsewise. So
right now he needs to make sure whoever he does jump gets bursted down. Their whole entire chance of winning a fight right now is the fact that they have a Wild Soul with that Mach. He's taking flight into this later stage of the game, and if they're able to pick one hero off before they're able to cast any spells, make it a 5v4, that's pretty much their only shot right now, in my opinion, because Stay Green is otherwise looking pretty undominable.
Torture leading the way with the team, even though being the support Torture, he's in those front lines, doesn't really care too much. Going to ask the team, they got plenty of support here. Mattress Call, the Rally Compel, obviously, and then there's that whole Barrier Idol. Energizer going to be activated right there. SG really wants to pressure this base. No Barrier Idol used just yet, though. Mocker Brilliance is finished on Boob, as we talked about, but will that be enough with a stop? Stay Green wants a base tower dead. They might end up falling back in the end, though. There's pretty good pushback here from tdM as far as that Mach goes. The Illuna Paratho, of course, the shelter from Bubble. So a lot to work with, and in the end, Stay Green realizing not going to be able to push into the base just yet. So they're going to play it safe here for now.
Yeah, well, it's one thing Stay Green does very well is just more safe, calculated plays. They're very good at resetting as a team, extending, waiting for their cooldowns, and just waiting for that right opportunity. They came to that base there. They got down half of the defense tower's life. No problem reapproaching and finishing the job later.
They're going to catch Jesse right here. Kelfield coming out of the face. They're going to have the RC Master's Call. Yes, we will. The defensive Master's Call. Tempest is still alive. He doesn't have the team support just yet. Snot's coming out from over there. Will he live in the end? Chain Reaction is going to be used right there. The Mocker Brilliance Boob is still chasing. Another Snot applied. Tempest is still alive. Damn it. Stay Green. Big play with the support. He survives long enough. Illuna will fall now. We see Armadon still in the front lines, though. Pebbles trying to make his support happen. Big Capel. The seismic slam to the back of Armadon, and Armadon will eventually fall after the chuck. Wild Soul holding his ground. He wants to at least pick up the kill onto Pebbles right here. Bubbles going to assist with the shell serve. Song on the scenes. One more auto attack. Yes, it is going to be enough there for Bubbles. But now Rally in those front lines. He has a Compel. Doesn't have a Compel, actually. Not enough mana here. Fork Lightning connecting, though. Master of Arms chasing. The red gun coming out right here. There's the final auto attacks. And KZU will get credit for the kill onto Limp. So look at the exchanging going on. A 4 for 2. Honestly, a lot of that going back to Jesse, surviving as long as he did.
Yeah.
He fought back, by the way, so I guess it was a 4 for 3.
Not to mention, if New G was able to survive just a little bit more, I mean, he almost was able to take down the Pebbles, and who was it? The Pebbles in the Rally. He was trying to drop down Pebbles. Pebbles got the chuck off on him in combination with the Rally stun and the Seismic Slam to his back. It was to his back, but it was still enough damage to bring the Beast down. If it just went slightly different for Trademark, they would have been able to sort of carry that one home a victory. One thing I wanted to point out, Tempest had bought back there.
Yeah.
And he was looking to try to counterfight as well, but they didn't even need him.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until the last second, like you're saying. He bought back, but it did seem like fortunate too much there in the end with that buyback. But hey, his team won the fight in the end, so that's what matters for Stay Green. And now you have a level 16 Master of Arms. He gets another Quick Blade here, so very likely going to be going the No Fire route. And you're talking about Mage Bane being a solid hero against an Armadon. Oh, No Fire Blade, also a great item against an Armadon, especially with that red Pulse Cannon. In fact, there you go, level 1 No Fire Blade finished. And now we got Master of Arms. He's going to be very effective in many, many senses, especially against an Armadon here.
Wasn't it in that TTES versus... I want to think here. I want to say it was like TTES versus... Lions? I thought there was an Armadon, so I just remember the Nullifier Blade completely draining the mana out of a hero like Armadon or another frontman like that before he was able to get any spells off. I'm trying to just remember the series. It was recent. It was recent time. But Nullifier Blade did work on that Master of Arms. We actually saw it take out the full mana pool, and even with 2 Rings of Sorcery, they're having trouble keeping their hero up.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how it played out, but or what the team question say, but yeah, I definitely remember what you're talking about right there. Bottom lane, Bubbles. Might need to be a little bit careful here. Rally's coming in, but it doesn't look like he's going to initiate at least just yet. He does have Tempest nearby, but Bubbles going to fall back before too much happens. Pebbles, in the meantime, he's actually got an invis already. Finds Armadon and wouldn't dare do anything on him just by himself at least. Maybe if he gets that team support, though, Master of Arms nearby, but nope, just going to keep scouting around for now. Going towards the bottom. If he finds this Bubbles, actually, does have a Mystic Vestments, but on Intellect Boots right now. Oh, Pebbles can definitely pick up the kill. The off of the Master's Call. There's the combo. One more auto attack, and look at the Master's Call, man. That level 3 off of the Master's Call. That's a Pebbles attacking that fast.
That 100+ attack speed. Onto the fact that Pebbles enlarge just gives him that much more base attack damage. He was hitting like a monster. Uh-oh.
Parasite tried to port out right there. Chessie found him, though. He has an ultimate. Will he use it right here to pull him back in maybe for the kill? No, the auto attack still coming out. They know he's in a bad spot. Chain reactions come out. Parasite does not have any creeps nearby. He's going to put the Leash to Codex. Maybe get the kill in the Sea Break. Not going to be in now. Pebbles even coming in. Actually gets credit for the kill right there. Of course, being played by Swindlemelon. So, again, things just really continuing to look up and up for State Green, and it ain't slowing anytime soon.
Yeah, look at how much farm right now they have on 4 heroes. 385 gold per minute on Pebbles, 478 on Master, 370 on Tempest, 351 on Rally. They're just doing great, man.
Yeah, things are looking good all across the board. 16,000 gold lead, 14,000 experience lead here for State Green. Trademark Esports, definitely try to persevere. They know they have a very strong later game team, most certainly. Starting with that Wild Soul, of course. Obviously, the Armadon, also a big threat, especially as that mid-game approaches.
It goes back. You look at how close some of these fights were and some of the exchanges were even when Trademark was way down. If they had waited there, allowed the Armadon to get a little bit more tanky, finish out, maxing out his Armadillo, finish his Shaman's Headdress, and allow the Wild Soul to get his Mach before picking those fights to try to defend those towers, which they lost and lost the towers anyway, we could have seen a totally different late-game phase coming out here. I mean, if it was close before, what would it be if they didn't take those horrible exchanges?
Void Talisman picked up by Tempest right here. So not even going the Shrunken Head route, figuring the Void Talisman is more efficient here as far as Chessie's build goes. Obviously, it's great against the Armadon, great against Wild Soul and that Boo Boo, but
he's just tanking up to we saw right there they just won. It took a while for them to kill anything, though. They had to go a while. Keep that Snot Storm applied from Armadon. Keep that Spine Burst coming out. Void Talisman is going to allow him to kite that Armadon that much better.
It's level 16 right there as well, so another impactful moment. Obviously, the Shrunken Head of Rally that you've been talking about. The levels 2 of Nullifier Blade finished on Master of Arms. He's putting on a lot of damage right now, man. 204 max damage in that blue cannon. We see the middle tower going to be pushed in here by tdM. Of course, this is something they can really start doing now with that Wild Soul Boo Boo specifically, with that Mach. The Ghost March is on him. They got Soul's Bulwark choosing to go to Armadon, by the way. Not going to put it on Wild Soul this game, or a Boo Boo specifically. They're chasing in that jungle. Tempest in a little bit of trouble right here. We're going to see an Entangle. Not just yet. There's 2 auto attacks, 3 auto attacks. The Void Talisman going to be put up, though. Going to come off any second. There's the Entangle coming off. So tdM wants this kill. Damn it. Snowstorm going to be coming in right here. Chessie, maybe a turnaround chance. Bubbles comes in as well. Tempest will the ultimate barrier. Not going to be enough in the end. Off to the side in the meantime. We do see a pick off on a Torture. Parasite now on the run, but Pebbles wants revenge, and he will get revenge. Master of Arms now in a little bit of trouble himself. He has that Geometer's Bane, remember, so he still hasn't used it just yet. He's going to be compelled backwards. There's that Geometer's Bane. A big demoralizing roar, slowing down the enemy team. Master of Arms now putting in those auto attacks with that Nullifier Blade. Chuck coming out from Pebbles, but Master of Arms actually in a lot of trouble right here. Fork Lightning slowing them down. Will it be enough in the end? He doesn't have a Master's Call. The Entangle comes out, and down goes Master. No buybacks being used so far from State Green. Pebbles still holding his ground, though, as Rowley is coming back in. Armadon and Wild Soul honestly need to be a little bit careful right here if they can actually combo this. Entangle comes out. Demonic Presby on Pebbles, by the way, using it to tank up. The power throw will miss right there. He chucks the Luna off, or excuse me, Bubbles off of him right there. In comes Rowley from behind, and actually Pebbles will survive for now.
You gotta be kidding me.
As he portal keyed away at the last second. Pork gonna go out right there. And tdM, they're the ones in retreat mode now. What plays from Swindlemelon?
You've got to be kidding me. Did you see what happened there?
He chucked him.
The Minotaur.
I didn't see the
He
Minotaur.
spawned the Wild Soul creep, and the chuck happened. And the Minotaur laid down a stomp and stunned the Wild Soul Bear. That's why he was able to get away and portal key out. He was dead, man. The neutral keep coming in to save the day.
Wow. Newt's doing work right there. I
can't believe that.
I don't even know if I got that on camera, unfortunately. But
yeah, that was. Oh man,
that's big. I mean, Swinnemel, I was a little surprised that he was standing in there as long as he was. I mean, it was really him. Rowley was there, but very low on life.
Well, he was trying to see if he could wait for those cooldowns, come for a follow-up. They all were very low on Trademark's side.
Yeah.
If he was able to get his combo up, blink in at the right moment, and pick off 2 more heroes, sure, that would have been awesome. Just wasn't able to find that window, and then before you knew it, Wild Soul was on him with that Mock of Brilliance and taking him down. Wasn't able to escape, but still big getaway in the end.
Yeah, and where does that put us now? tdM definitely winning that fight. I mean, they got the 3 kills. Wild Soul and Armadon, especially both living. Those are the big heroes, of course. Armadon now level 16 actually, and he is really starting to bulk up here. He's got the Soul's Bulwark. He now has a Mighty Blade picked up, so on his way to very likely that Shrunken Head himself. State Green knows that they can't wait forever, so they are going to once again at least try to apply some pressure down here at the bottom lane and make some damage happen at the base, but, well, not just yet. Torture is nearby with an Invis rune, but
yeah,
not going to go too crazy here.
No barrier alley yet either on this Hellborn team. You look at the massive amount of magic damage, massive amount of burst. Kind of expected to see it coming out, but he values that Shrunken Head even more.
Pebbles jumps in. Armadon going to become a Wild Soul, porting back in. Kelphin going to be. Armadon has his back turned to them, so mitigating a lot of damage. The Tempest ultimate from Jesse, and Armadon will eventually fall right there. He buys back immediately, though. And look at the comeback, and look at Stiggery now falling. They realize with that buyback, they need to go retreat mode. Tempest going to be tableted forward. I believe that was a compel right there. Pebbles jumps back in the background. He wants the combo, but Swinnemel's getting a little bit too ballsy right here. Swinnemel's will fall in the end. Torture out a lot of trouble. We see Tempest going to avoid Talisman right there. Can he actually pour it out in time? Yes, he can, so he'll survive. But Pebbles choosing to go back in right there. It does result in a couple of deaths, and now tdM, they're going to start pushing back here.
Yeah, Parasite, those vestments doing work, saving him from the Pebbles combo, and hell, look at the golden experience lead, man. He got the Elemental Void off there, and it doesn't reflect the buyback per se, but still, we know Trademark is notorious for that, holding off, taking those base fights, staying up for buybacks, turning the game around there while having these huge late game lineups. And Wild Soul and the Armadon, they synergize very, very well together pretty much in this late game phase. You got tons and tons of kiting potential and durability in these fights.
Yeah. Man, oh man, I mean, again, in the back of your mind, you see State Green, you see them with a 16,000 goal lead. It was something like 25 minutes into this game. They had a lot of momentum going, and usually it seems like that would be a victory for State Green sooner than later, but as you just put it, tdM as a team just really good at persevering, holding at their base, eventually coming back, but with their team makeup as well. This is most certainly a team that will come back and will win it in the end if you let them. So I think it's safe to say State Green, they're a little bit of they don't have this victory by any means in their hands just yet. So need to be careful here.
Yeah, and frickin' Zion's Wild Soul, man, 420 gold per minute almost, doing very well. Of course, Slicks is leading the pack here at 450, but still right on his tails, and it is a Wild Soul, notorious for being banned out all the.
Sorry, middle lane. We might have initiation right here. They're lining up. Noobg just sitting there. He knows that he's so tanky. In fact, he's going to be jumped right here by Pebbles. He has a Shrunken Head being delivered all the way. It's going to be sent back, actually. Armadon has his back there, but it's not going to be enough for yes, he will fall in the end. Torture did die as well, so a 1-for-1 exchange right there. Much better for State Green, though. Armadon, does he buy back? Yes, he does. That's a second buyback, remember. But he is coming back into the fight. Kelphin coming on. The Red Alunus out 5 seconds on to rally. However, Armadon is still not here. Locked in on a Master of Arms. That's an illusion. Never mind. It's going to be fine. Pebbles with his combo. Gets a combo off on a Parasite. And boom, offensive Master's Call going to be used on him. And that will buy him some time to actually get away. So State Green, they're pretty happy with that. They got the buyback, and that is the second buyback again on Armadon.
Yeah, it's the second buyback, and they didn't even have Elemental Void up, so the next fight, they're going to have the Tempest ulti, man.
Yeah. And you know what I think happened right there, which even makes it a bigger deal?
Tell me.
Armadon had his Shrunken Head being delivered with the Warhammer pattern. Because he got jumped right there, I believe he sold those 2 items for the half cost, and he actually bought back as a result of that. So he didn't even sell them for full cost there.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure, because I saw him at I want to say like 1,600 gold after he died. So there is no way he would have been able to sell those back. And again, that's kind of speculation because I didn't actually click on it by any means and see it, but I know he had like 300 gold, and all of a sudden he had about 1,600 gold in a split second. So something happened there, and I mean that's a big deal because if not only that means he didn't get a Shrunken Head, but now he bought back on top of that at the half price sellback. So
well, either Mind Nuts or or Noob G sort of agreeing with me here on this route. He is picking up the barrier idol now instead, choosing to change his advancement route after these recent pickoffs. It makes sense for an Armadon. It is a huge team fight item. He was well the way there with the Shaman's Headdress, might as well finish it. You know, that Shrunken Head could have been good, but when they're getting initiated on every time like this, it's just not enough.
Yeah. You know, it could have been the barrier idol too. It could have been that. So again, I don't want to say for certain by any means. So, but something did happen there. I definitely noticed that they're selling some items and whatnot. I'd be curious to check the replay on that. But anyways, he's out of buybacks. As you mentioned, he is going the barrier idol route now. He still doesn't have enough of the pattern just yet, but most certainly on his way. So Stay Green going to continue to knock on the door here and really keep tdM on their toes and playing defensively. But Wilds, in the meantime, he's continuing to bulk up, going the Charged Hammer, or the Thunderclaw, excuse me, as we talked about on Boo Boo here. Getting some more DPS, of course, and actually going to chase down this Master of Arms, but he's going to be compelled forward. We'll be fine, and they get the tower kill. So actually it works out pretty well there.
I do really like the new Thunderclaw on Boo Boo. I think it's great because of the fact that it works on a charge system. When you're not attacking anyone for a while, your first hit is always going to guarantee that Thunderclaw proc, and then 4 or 5 hits later, you're guaranteed another one. So it's almost like a 50% chance almost on your first 4 to 5 attacks, depending on how spaced apart they are. And you know that Boo Boo sometimes chases for a while. Chases for a while, isn't auto-attacking, is laying on that Mach, getting in hits here and there. So it just synergizes perfectly, sort of how Wild Soul approaches a fight.
456 gold per minute right now on Master of Arms. He has 3,700 gold saved up. That could be a straight-up Shrunken Head in the works for him. You know, very possible coming up. Obviously, already got it on rallies. We've talked about Pebbles. It looks like he, too, is going for that. So those definitely being favored here as far as pickup items at this point for Stay Green. He looks like a Parasite. Again, he invested now into that portal key. Still sitting on the level 2 codex that he went very, very first there, even before upgrading his boots. So again, I kind of look back at that.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff there, but
sure.
Other than that, I mean, not too much else to talk about here, as Master Boss has 4,200 gold now saved up. So again, Slick's okay, there you go. There's the right click of the Shrunken Head. And he will now have that tablet on a Tempest.
Kind of looking at how they've been initiating an Armadon too. If he was able to complete that Shrunken Head, that would have been great, because they've been having the like a 1 second stun, the chuck back from Pebbles, and you've seen Armadon able to move around and sort of cast before ultimately getting comboed down later by the rallies, the rally compel, the seismic slam, what have you. If after the chuck back he's able to activate his Shrunken Head, that would have been huge, because they sort of had a wasted initiation going on. Then the follow-up would happen. The unstoppable snot storm coming out, what have you, but they denied it from him. And right now it's just in a much worse position.
Yeah. Armadon again just sitting here at the bottom lane. He doesn't want to risk anything. Again, this is a Legion team that has a lot of jump potential and doesn't want to get caught out of position, like what happened earlier. And you know why he's down those 2 buybacks, has no more to work with. So obviously that kind of good news there. It makes buying your items easy. You don't need to worry about saving up gold now. So you just go ahead and spend that gold whenever you have it. But he's going to continue to push out this bottom lane here. He does have Bubbles nearby for backup support. Bubbles with that portal key tablet combination. So Limp's most certainly been able to do enough here. I mean, he's only farming 195 gold per minute, but hey, he's level 15. He's got those core items, the tablet and the portal key. So he's definitely doing his job nonetheless.
Yeah.
Even with that very poor farm here coming out. But now Master of Arms, he's going to continue pushing out this bottom lane again, starting to pull up some more gold, but just got that Shrunken Head recently, so still a ways to go towards this next item.
Right.
Question is, when does Stay Green make a move here?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Charged Hammer, is picked up by Boo Boo. He is farming very, very fast, and you know, if it's a case of seeing Wild Soul wind up ultimately carrying this game, how's that going to affect SG's bans in Game 2? They chose not to ban Wild Soul's game. It would be pretty crushing to face defeat at the hands of the Bear.
Well, on top of that, again, they didn't pick Wild Soul themselves. It was lining up. They could have very likely went with the first pick, but they chose to go the Tempest instead. So it gave tdM, in a sense, that Parasite Wild Soul, which was very quickly picked up by my nuts. So
I don't feel like Wild Soul's a comfort pick for Stay Green, though. I mean, they do prefer this more style action-oriented early push lineups. So
I agree. Here we are again, trying to break into the base. They are doing plenty of chip damage, just like they did to the tower, eventually getting a kill. The Rax, of course, it does regen, unlike the tower, but at a slow rate, and is going to start jumping up a little bit here. But there is plenty of counter push with that set as well from Trademark Esports, as they've been proving time and time again. Look at these Vorta sites, by the way, too. It's bottom lane. There's two water sites right next to each other from both Stay Green and tdM.
So they're definitely aware of the fact that Fitsky has that down.
Yeah.
No, they aren't. They aren't. Fitsky's actually placed his first. I misspoke there. Clicked on the wrong ward. So yeah, they don't actually know about that being placed down. It is pretty far out, so the chance of it being counter-warded without a bound eye is minimal.
Yeah, no bound eye. That's actually pretty significant too. Usually by this time, especially with the team that's trying to break into a base and push up, we see those bound eyes fixed up, but not going to be here just yet for State Green at least. I will say a Shrunken Head, though, just finished on Pebbles right there, and it is now being delivered. So maybe that was the big key item that they were really waiting for before they actually jump into the space right here. But
and we talked about Stay Green's composure before, man. Barrier Idol was used on Pebbles. A lot of times you'd see a lot of teams, they just get impatient. They did the chip damage to the towers. They took down the base tower, got damage on the racks. A lot of teams you'd say, even though their Barrier Idol is down, they would just go again with the next wave instead of just waiting to reset for all those cooldowns and go at it. Stay Green, tons of composure. They're waiting until the Barrier Idol's up, and now they're going for chip damage again on the racks. Can they take it down?
There we go. Again, Shrunken Head deliver. There's the Barrier Idol, as you said. Boo Boo sitting in the front lines, though. Here comes Pebbles. Actually, Armada going to be done. Put a quick tap it away, and Armada will be fine. That counter kill coming in. Shrunken Head's off all over the place. Master of Arms, he's going to be sunk on the seat on, but Bubbles will get away before it's anything that happens onto him. Armada continuing to turn his back, doing the quill spam. The quill spam doing work. Tempest dropping. The tap it out there. Demons of Masters call. Jesse will barely live for now, but Boo Boo's going to be too strong in the end. In the meantime, Armada does fall. Pebbles and Rally up here with Master of Arms. Armadon's not buying back. Remember, that's the big kill right there. Wild still going to be comboed on. He's running away in ulti form. In comes the Song of the Sea Nuke from Bubbles, trying to save his teammate, if anything. Will be enough for the surviving in the end, but now the melee racks are very likely going to fall right. No, actually, I don't know if they're going to fall, actually. We got the Legion team Stay Green. They're going to fall back in the end. They just don't have enough resources here, and tdM will eventually hold it off.
Well, you saw there, right, though, the pain. Oh, first off, Chessie was not able to get his Elemental Void off. Boo Boo just sort of boxed him out of the fight, got some lucky procs on him, laid down that damage, and really kept him out of it, but it didn't matter. Armadon having no buyback, getting off that huge pickoff onto him, definitely paid off.
Wild still walking into no man's land here. He's going to be tapping for, though. Bubbles going for the counter. Master of Arms dropping quickly. Boo Boo's in the front lines. One more tick on the mock. There's the auto attack, and the charge timer going off. Sides excited in the meantime on the Bubbles, but Rally is going to fall just before. Oh, what a turnaround right there. Rally gets entangled and not able to finish off Bubbles. Pebbles going to pour the key away, but tdM, Zai getting the double tap right there on Wild Soul. That is not how you wanted things to end for Stay Green.
No, not at all. And I was going to mention, too, Zai was being really, really forward with his Boo Boo because he lost the first one very early on in the fight. Stay Green has been great about bursting Boo Boo down. They have a lot of low cooldown spells. It'll take him out pretty much at no cost to them. They could have reset at a certain point there, reinitiated the fight, and with Zai only having one more summon of Boo Boo, killing that bear would have just been just as good as killing the hero.
Oh yeah, you killed Boo Boo with Wild Soul with no respawn. I mean, in most cases, at least in the competitive scene especially, that's going to really put a hinder on.
Right.
I mean, you see Wild Soul himself has Plated Greaves and Abyssal, so what are you going to do with that? So.
Yeah, no, I honestly thought they were going to target that Boo Boo more. He was up in the front a lot, very, very killable, but maybe they just didn't realize. I mean, they had to have known the first one died. They focused it down.
Yeah. Boo Boo does die right there to Kongor, but they respawn him, and Kongor goes down. Token of life of Armadon. Again, we're really seeing a comeback in the works here from tdM. A very likely comeback.
Right.
There's still no racks down. This is a very strong late game team, specifically with that Wild Soul. Sure, you do have a Master of Arms over here. You do have a very good team set up on Stay Green's side that could definitely take it to later game as well. Right. But if anything, they had the stronger earlier game in that mid-game phase especially. Weren't able to break into the base, though.
Well, having that token makes up for the fact that he has no more buybacks anymore.
True.
I mean, part of what they've been aiming for in these fights, they're able to take down the Armadon, and then Wild Soul just doesn't have enough chase potential by himself. His buddy Armadon being dropped. They don't have that, but now with the two huge tanky presences, tons and tons of sustained damage coming out in these clashes, it is going to be very difficult for them to break. And Wild Soul, seeing 4,500 gold is going to just scale insanely now into this next phase. No demonic breastplate picked up yet. What is going? Probably a Savage Mace I could see coming out.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Savage Mace for him. I mean, that's where Boo Boo really starts to do some work. Ooh, Pebbles, though, with the invis coming up here. He actually does have Torture nearby. Zai, you're in trouble, buddy. Run away now, run away now. He's being blocked. You might know something's up. Boo Boo's in the front lines. He does have team support nearby. There's the open, though. Will he be tanky enough? In comes the Shrunken Head. Oh, the Tablet 4 going to be fine for now, but a big compel coming out. The Seismic Slam going out. That Tab is ultimate on top of that. Oh, Parasite jumps in. Armadon falls. Gonna use that turn live on Parasite for Armada. Will he fall twice here? The back is turned, but I don't think he's gonna be able to get away. The hero block can go down. The no fire blade to slow him down. Armada so damn tanky, but not tanky enough. Stay Green, a big fight there. A 3-for-0 exchange. And Trademark Esports now on their back feet right here. Wild Soul will buy back, by the way, as does Bubble. So they are going to be. Bubbles didn't buy back; he just didn't die. Anyways, they still have. They do have 3 heroes up here, but the Token of Life not really used in a sense efficiently.
Look at how much worth those runes have there, man. The Invis rune just totally changed the game over for Stay Green. I mean, they were looking strong before, but with Armadon having that token, Wild Soul sitting at 4,500 gold, it was looking tough to sort of overcome. Getting very close to that Savage Mace pickup. Still, they found the angle, took down the token, took down the Wild Soul, forced the buyback.
Oh,
here we are.
Gonna die. No respawn.
Yeah, I know, and that's pretty much going to be game, set, spike, I think, here for tdM, man.
Yeah.
It's no Armadon, he can't get up. They have to watch these racks fall. And that's going to be a mid lane as well, I believe. I mean, we'll see how fast they can get up and sort of pose a response to this, but that's 80 seconds of having no boo-boo.
Yeah. You said it. Talk about the power of a rune even at this late in the game. The Invis rune setting up all that exchanging going on, or those kills, I should say. It gets them, in a sense, 2 melee racks. They don't have a Token of Life to deal with anymore. tdM is going to hold in this game a little bit longer. You can't blame them, especially with their lineup and, you know, what they've had going. Oh, never mind. Kitsy comes out, and game number 1 going to officially go to Stay Green over Trademark Esports. So, again, here in a best out of 3, still got a series ahead of us for sure, but how about that, Emperor? Game 1 eventually falls in the hands of Stay Green.
Yeah, honestly, Breaky, for a second there, I thought Trademark was coming back. I honestly thought they might have had that game. The one thing I was worried about is the fact that Boo Boo is still pretty killable. If you're able to take down the bear, Wild Soul can be useless. That being said, credit to them for finding the angle and going hard. I mean, even against the token, they had the confidence to go lay down a huge gank. Big Tempest LT come out in the end. Parasite accidentally jumping into it, and they just couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. Man, I mean, again, the power of the rune even that late in the game. The choice to really try to save Wild Soul there, even though he had a buyback, you could argue that as well. I mean, maybe that was a case of tdM. Let's just play it safe here.
Right.
He dies, he buys back, we still hold off. But again, that's easy for us to say, but when you're in the heat of the moment, you make decisions on the fly. And they chose one. It just didn't work out in the end. Stay Green.
For sure.
They kept the aggression up a lot, and that ultimately led them to the victory, as we saw there. So, game number 1. Shout out to Milkfat. Game number 1 going to Stay Green right there over Trademark Esports. Again, it's so much is on the line here. Really, the number 1 seed here for HoN going into those grand finals is on the line. Which team will it be? Well, right now, Stay Green in the better spot. So we are going to take a short break, though. With that said, stay tuned. I'm sure we have a great game 2. Possible game 3 even going to be coming up later on. And then we have the other series. I mean, we're just getting started today, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. Live here from PAX East. We'll be right back.